Bournemouth, Leicester. Bournemouth nicked another 3 points.
Yeah, Maddison mistake, wasn't it?
Yeah, Leicester. God, I mean, we talked about earlier that apparently Dean Smith's going to come into Leicester on a short-term contract.
Yeah.
Another Hail Mary, come in, shore it up. But they need wins, right? Like, it's not just about coming in and making them defend better. They need wins. Was he ever known as some kind of expansive, super attacking manager? I don't remember that.
He played all right football with Norwich.
He did. All right football, but...
remember, he wasn't at Norwich long. Because remember, his main job was Villa, innit?
Yeah.
And then he got replaced by Stevie. Then he jumped into the Norwich hot seat
I
quite
think
quickly.
overall solidity was their thing. Yes, in the Championship, they batted up. No disrespect to Championship, but when you got certain caliber of players, you will do that.
Well, you say that. Remember, he got sacked from Norwich this season.
Yeah, he didn't have the tools, I guess. Yeah, it's true.
So
I think he was unlucky at Villa, though, at the time that they sacked him to bring Stevie in. I think that was more about, we got a chance of getting a big name.
Yeah,
in
to your point about another job, that was more about getting Stevie in than getting Dean Smith.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I guess what it lends to, if you listen to some of what's out there, is they have spoken to a couple of people. They've asked themselves the same question you asked at work, and they've said no. So apparently they did speak to Potter, and he said, nah. Again, all alleged. We heard reports of speaking to Benitez. All of a sudden now that's turned into Dean Smith being appointed on a short-term deal. That would suggest Benitez didn't think it was a challenge he wanted to take on.
Yeah,
Jesse Marsh.
Then there was Jesse Marsh. Apparently talks broke down yesterday. So, without being disrespectful to Dean Smith, it just kind of seems that actually they've arrived at someone who could do a job for them in the last 8 games of the season. And I reckon they're looking to next season as well.
What's happened to Big Sam? Is he retired? Don't he do this no more?
No, because of the England thing. So he's been blacklisted.
Yeah, bro. It's probably a toxic.
Swear down.
Yeah.
Has he not had a job since then?
I don't think so,
No,
I don't think so. Who's he managed since...
Bro, are you sure?
I think he had a job after, didn't he?
Oh, when it comes to the relegation survival, bro, that's the man, bro. Do you think I'm listening to anyone if I need my club to stay up?
Sean Dyche is the new Big Sam, bro.
Do you think there's
I think there's things around players though. I think what we don't know, because again there's been things said about how Sam dealt with players and some of the off-field stuff, with Morrison, etc. If you're a club owner, there's probably you know how they talk to each other, etc. They probably will say, you know what? I don't need the grief that it comes with. But I hear what he's saying. 150 million, give me some grief about Sam. 150 million. Yo, Sam.
Couple games, bruv. He's coming in for that bread.
You see, with Dean Smith potentially going to Leicester, do you think there's not a lack of managers around, but do you think clubs feel they've got to get an established manager in? So Southampton, you've got Nathan Jones, who came from Luton, didn't quite work out. But do you think teams feel they have to go for like a name that their fans know in order for there to be a bit of a morale boost? Because there seems to be like the same names being regurgitated all the time when these kind of jobs come up. Like, surely there's
think it's a combination of things. You're right. I think there is, because you got to think about the people who are making these appointments. Again, not all of these clubs have, directors of football, etc. So some of these are chairmen who, yes, they've been in the football game a long time, but they're businessmen at the end of the day, right? Yeah. They've never managed, scouted, etc. So they're taking advice. And it's generally advice from people who have their own network. They're going to help their network first, right? Then there's also, the fan piece. So, there was a time where if your club is in trouble and you manage to get Big Sam, you would have fans say, well, look, football's not going to be great, but at least he's going to deliver. Whereas now, people might say, I don't know if that's the right thing for our club, etc., etc. So I just think it's a combination of two where, what do the optics look like? And secondly, what are the football advisors? What are they advising that individual? And what they advise is generally based on their network. That's my opinion and my limited. If Sam Allardyce is one of your guys, if you ring me, I'll be like, well, look, Sam's available. Mark's available. Same kind of thing. And we don't know. They might have called Sam and he's like, I'm not doing that. If I come back to the game, it's got to be a something that's going to benefit me in a certain way.
Nah, I don't think he's like that, man.
At the moment, I'll say it's a lot to do with timing.
Yeah.
Because you've got, less than 10 games left of the season. I think you're going to go for someone who's established and known. I don't think you can sort of gamble at this point of the season.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in the summer, we'll start hearing new names
and
new
established
managers.
and known at doing that as well. Because we've got that little basket of firefighters, isn't it? So established and known at doing that. Sam Allardyce, Dyche, he at least had a bit more time.
Yeah.
But when you look at people like Allardyce and co, they normally get, like I said in the previous episode, they're normally getting called around Christmas. You know, at least the man's got, 19
I guess
games.
that all the managers that have been sacked in the last kind of year or so, whenever a job comes up, their names are being thrown into the mix. I just wanted to kind of...
Do clubs scout managers like they do players? Do they have a list of managers that they would like to go to? Obviously not
I think only certain clubs do. So I think Southampton did because they brought over Poch and the guy who got before Nathan Jones, Hassan Hootle.
Yep.
You can see Brighton have.
Yes.
Granted, they got Potter from Swansea, but you can see like they've got. I think certain clubs do. Yeah.
It's the clubs that are more strategic.
Yeah.
Generally, they're not just strategic with players; they're just strategic with everything. So they will be looking at who's doing well in a certain league, who has certain ideas. So it's always funny when someone gets appointed, all the people that magically knew about them before, right? But to be fair, the people who watch a lot of games in the game, they're saying, look, people have been talking about De Zerbi for some time. Like, he was doing good things, and it was always a thing of it's going to be a point where he gets a team in the Premier League or one of the other big leagues gives him. It's just like me and you I don't know who the next De Zerbi is, I'll be honest. I don't know. But yeah, I think the strategic clubs, especially the ones with directors of football, it's not just about the players. They look at the whole coaching staff, the academy setup, all of that stuff all the way through, right?
But generally speaking, it would be the sort of mid-table to lower teams that would bring these managers in, right? Because the bigger teams will be going for the bigger names.
Yeah.
But those bigger teams are looking at them and saying, well, if he goes to Brighton and does his thing, that's what they should be doing. So I would expect that Tottenham's a good example, right? They're not title winners, but they're not a mid-table team. Yeah, you need to have done a thing to come and manage there. I would expect that they have an eye on a few managers where, in whatever top European league, if they do well, they would be a candidate for that job should they need it. I'd be very surprised. If
I don't think they're getting a big name, you know.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
What do you mean? Not a big name. Like you just think
Mourinho, Conte. I think they're gonna go for like,
like a tier 2 manager,
someone with a philosophy. Maybe this time.
Give them some time.
Yeah, I think they've done the let's win now type of manager. This guy's gonna win. He known for winning.
20 million a year.
Yeah,
come and get us something.
Done it, innit? So I think now what's left to do? Like they got to try something.
Like, who do they have? Nunes,
I was going to say
something like back to that kind of mold.
Yeah. And I don't think, and I hope they're not scarred by that, right? Because the logic of getting Nunes in was right. He did well with Wolves. They had some consistent seasons in the Prem.
Oh, Nuno.
Leading me astray, bro.
That's all astray.
And he'd worked with players that weren't that known. The network had brought in a lot of the Portuguese players, etc. So that was on paper a logical appointment if you want to do what you did. I just hope they're not scared away. They're not scarred away from
because he left. He left Wolves in. Like I don't like the mutual sacking or whatever. He left Wolves when he went to Spurs. I was like, really?
Yeah, but
that
again,
was a good fit.
Yeah, there was chatter about him getting those better jobs for some time. It just hadn't materialized. So yeah, I think that's what Spurs have needed for some time. I'll be honest. I'm happy that they've done what they've done as an Arsenal fan. But I do think if they're taking a more... They tried to do it with Nuno. They did try. It didn't work out. Yeah. But clearly that formula is not the same. And I've got a good friend of mine I used to work with, he's a Spurs fan. If you listen to him speak, for him, it's the hierarchy. The hierarchy is the hierarchy. They would rather have a fantastic stadium that can host NFL games, etc., rather than making the right investments in the football inside of the team. So as far as he's concerned, he reckons even if they got a great manager in, they'll get lucky, the average will go up, but it's not until there's kind of root and branch there that they will be a team over 10 or 15 years that are consistently actually winning things.
Daniel Levy's not changing.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going nowhere.
So interesting though what you said when they asked the question about do managers get scouted by clubs. The two clubs you mentioned straight away were Southampton and Brighton. And what do we know about their player recruitment?
Exactly.
Probably two of the best player recruitment as well. So it's probably no coincidence that they got the best players from these kind of places, and then now they get the best managers as well.
And you watch Southampton, and as a team they haven't done well. They got a few players there. If they go down, I think some Prem teams are gonna come
100%.
calling.
I'm knocking. Yeah.
They've got 2 or 3 tidy. I mean, Ward Prowse has got to leave surely. His loyalty can't stretch to the Championship.
Nah.
He's got to leave
That
surely.
Lavia guy, is that
Lavia, from Man City.
Serious
He's
baller.
decent.
And the thing, and Brighton the same. How many clubs are going to be coming after Brighton's players in the summer?
Yeah,
Mm.
it's true.
Yeah,
Brighton have
yeah.
become the new Leicester, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about McAllister.
Yeah.
Big money in it.
Caicedo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about
Matoma.
Ferguson being
Oh, Ferguson looks a real
Being-
good player.
looked at by United. So
I think the manager to watch out for in Europe, though, just a little snippet, is the Sporting Lisbon manager.
That's what I was going to
Yeah,
say.
he looks like he's got some.
I swear down, I was going to say that.
is there a reason you Arsenal fans are saying that, or is it just
No,
No, I've seen him. I've seen him a few times. He looks like he's
What's that
the
about?
next one off
What's
the
that
bench.
about?
I know he's
What's
trying
that
to. I know
about?
he's
What's
trying
that
to get there.
about?
Listen, I know you're the
What's
worst
that
today, but don't do that, bro. I'll rush you. I'll rush you.
just
then.
asking.
We'll rush you. then.
Club
Yeah,
side
no,
experience and
I
all
think
that, you know?
I think they beat Tottenham early on in the season. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Anyway,
You tried it, man. You
Yeah.
thought I was
Anyway.
you thought I was getting unnoticed as well.
Just asking a question.
well done to the caretaker manager gone perm. It's doing okay. Is he perm or just perm to the end of the season?
he'll talk
At
about.
Bournemouth.
O'Neill.
O'Neill.
No, I think it's permanent. Yeah, he was temporary at first, and now he's gone permanent. Yeah, they gave him the
Because they
job.
always say that doesn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't always
I need to
work.
check the stats, but the folklore is you get a guy caretaker does well, you make him perm, and then it all just starts to.
Yeah,
So I'm good to
He's
see.
doing
that.
well.
yeah, he's done really well.
I think he'll stay even if they go down.
Yeah,
He'll probably
I
stay,
agree.
innit?
I agree. And that Billing, he's a
Good player.
I think he's a good player, but the player you speak to, some people think he's overrated. Some people think he's underrated. I think he's underrated. I
He's
think
underrated.
he's good. I don't think I'm not saying he should go and play for Man City or Arsenal or something, but I do
To
think
stand out in that team is
yeah,
quite
I
an
think he
achievement.
should be playing for a team that's pushing mid-table, trying to get into Europe. I think he's of that level. He's a good player. And he's shown it over time.
And yeah, definitely we should shout out Gary O'Neill, definitely, because if you remember Scott Parker with the same squad, he didn't want the job. He basically was calling them out and was basically like, they're not good enough. And then Gary O'Neill's picked it up and look where they are. So
And-
big
and-
props to him for that.
And I'm gonna call people out over the time we do this podcast here, but I'm gonna do what I hate people. His demeanor just used to come across very, I don't know how to explain it. Like, not that this is beneath me, but he just seemed
Arrogant.
he seemed a little bit big time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of here for now.
Mm.
I'm Scott Parker. I'm gonna do this job, and then he didn't say all of this, but that's just the aura I got from him when he would say stuff. Even when he was doing the punditry, he's delivering that. I was just like, bro, if you don't need to be here, don't be here.
Yeah.
If you don't need the money or you don't want to do it, and I've not seen him on the TV since. I'll be honest. I
Did
don't
he
know
go
what
to Europe and
got
got
job.
sacked?
He was
He
at
went
Club
to Europe and got
Brugge.
sacked.
Club
Brugge.
Brugge
Oh,
got
yeah,
sacked.
got sacked.
Got
Yeah.
sacked after like
twice
what?
this season. They got knocked out the Champions League.
How long was he there? Like
No.
2 months or something.
Nah,
He got
sacked.
sacked. Yeah.
That's
That's
2
mad,
seconds
you
in
know.
a season.
Yeah.
Well,
mad.
2 seconds in the season, and you've gone to a league that is not of the same standard as the one you just left, and you couldn't make it through to the end of the season there. He's got to do a championship job again, I think.
Can I just
Yeah.
ask one question? Something that's come up as well that I heard the other day. What do you guys think about having a manager window? As in, if you sign a permanent manager, they have to be in the job for a year, or you can only sack managers during the January or whatever. It's a manager window. Yeah, you can't just
Can't
sack
tell me when I
winning.
can sack a manager that's just ruining my club.
But you've hired him.
Yeah, but then it just hasn't worked out.
I think,
But you can't sell a player.
I don't think it was a manager window. I
but you
think it
can't
was-
fire a player either.
I think what they said was when the manager comes in, he has to stay in for at least 6 months.
Or a year.
Before you can
Yeah.
get
So I
rid
don't
of
agree with manager window, but I was toying. I was thinking, along the same lines, I was thinking, is there need to be like a 10-game minimum, or there's got to be something that. But then again, how do you enforce that?
If it doesn't work, it doesn't
Yeah,
work,
because
man.
to your point,
At
you
any
can't
level,
sell- you can't sell
retail,
players.
management,
Yeah.
if it's not working,
To
get
your
rid.
point, you can't sell players, but if you wanted to fire a player, you can fire a player anytime you want.
Yeah, but you got to pay them,
Yeah.
these managers
Yeah,
out as well.
yeah,
so
yeah,
if
yeah.
you get it wrong, it's not like you
Yeah.
just let someone go and it's over with, innit?
Yeah.
You're paying for it as well. So
I do think there is something between what we've got today and saying there's a window or there's a minimum games. I don't know what it is. I think there needs to be some criteria, some performance criteria. Like if your team, I don't know, if your team is letting in 10 goals a game, I mean, some of Pat's stats
A
unfortunately
game.
were, I know, I'm being extreme.
Couple of Tories.
Yeah, exactly. some of Pat's stats weren't great. So in a corporate setting, you put it on the table. You've not won a game this year. You've not had a shot. There was one point they didn't have a shot on target for X amount of games. Your defense is like when you put it quantitatively like that. Sorry, mate, you gotta go. You know, and I think maybe some of those can be used as a guideline. I don't think employment law would even let you do some of this stuff, but even used as a guideline, maybe the LMA kind of say, look, before managers up for sacking, these are some of the.
But what if it's like a Tuchel Todd Bowley thing?
But
whereas
I think
they didn't see eye to eye on the certain things, and this is my club.
But I think that's
if you don't
but that's what I think
see
it
what
protects.
I'm trying to do.
But I think that's
or
what
you
it
don't want to go
protects.
along with it. You got to go in it. I'll bring someone in that does want to go along with it.
Well, that's a good point actually, because the numbers would back to show. Bro, you're just mashing up Brett Studio. Yeah, you're definitely the clip. Yo, Brett, all invoices straight to Mark, you know. But
that thing has been wanting to drop for time.
But that's where the statistics could be good, because you could argue the performance hasn't got better since Tuchel left. As a whole, that looks like now statistically that's the wrong decision. So whatever personal beefs or whatever you've got, and yes, it's your club. Actually, if you had those guidelines in place, you keep it like, well, you can still fire him, but the numbers don't back you, and that has now played out.
Yeah,
do you see what I mean? So actually, it's those situations you want that kind of thing would be useful, because you take all the egos and all the emotion out of it, and you say, look, mate, this guy's won 3 trophies in 18 months. This is his average. You know the ones. His last 10 games, whatever window you want to pick. You still want to fire him because he bumped into you in the corridor, or you don't like the way he's taking training, or whatever.
Look at when that manager left Leicester and they brought in
Ranieri. When Ranieri left,
no, not when Ranieri left. Before that, I swear that guy kept Leicester up.
Wasn't that post Ranieri when the caretaker manager came in?
No, before Ranieri. When Leicester was they was in a relegation battle or something.
Oh, you're talking Nigel Pearson?
Yes. And then the fans loved him though.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that.
But he had something dodgy with his
I don't know about that, but
apparently
I think it was his son or his son.
I don't know, underlying.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
His son done something away on holiday that probably we don't want to discuss.
It was no coincidence.
Yeah.
So you remember that? When he players and it was on video.
In
I'll tell you about that. And they were taking
an Asian country.
What?
No, because they're over there. Hey, I'm pretty sure they went to Thailand.
It was.
So they went to Thailand,
But
and they were
we didn't want to mention the
No,
but it's not a madness on the tour.
We have said too much.
It was on BBC, bro.
Moving on
swiftly.
swiftly.
It was on BBC, and they were basically making fun of people from Thailand in ways that you can imagine.
Yeah.
And as always with these lot, someone recorded it. They thought it's amongst friends, but it hit the net.
Where were the owners from?
Everyone do 2 plus 2.
Yeah.
The 4 will get you where you need to go.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I forgot the owners were from there.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, they done. They got rid of him quick.
So it wasn't officially said, but a few people feel like his decision became untenable after that. But I take your point. But I do think there needs to be, and they might already have it and we don't know, right? But I do think there needs to be some kind of very objective kind of set of boxes you go through. Because I think football hides behind that grey thing of, it's sport. You know, some things are subjective. It's down to, individual opinions, how people see it. It is, but we love to use things like XG and stuff when it suits us. So I do think there's probably some kind of baseline that could be used to say, right, okay, guys, we don't think things are going well, but let's take a step back and work it through this. And at the end, if you do that, I don't think a Tuchel gets sacked, or you sack him knowing that statistically you're sacking someone who's very, very good, and the chances of getting someone to come in and do the same or better are pretty slim based on this, right? And time is now, where are we now? April. They're on their 3rd manager of the season. And none of the stats are backing that decision. 0. None of them.
But I would be for every manager has 1 year before they're eligible for sacking.
A year's a long time in football, you know?
I'll say 1 year.
No.
1 year.
That's a whole season, you know?
If you're a new manager, I'll say 1 year.
No, that's
and
a
then
whole,
and then
bro.
before
That's
you
Okay,
too
so
much.
who insures my losses if I get relegated? Who does that other side of it?
No, it's your decision. So that's when you need to think about your decision in the first place.
That's
You
wild.
need to think.
That's
you
wild.
need to
The
think it
worst
through.
model
Yeah,
to
but
run.
you might just
You
make
a year, bro.
Let that's finish. Go on.
No, I would be for 1 year. Then you have to really think about, okay, this guy's going to be with me for 1 year. I've got to make sure he's right.
No, but how you can't make sure he's right, though, bro.
Yeah,
All right, let me pose this to you a different way.
it might not
Let
work.
me pose this
That's
to you
in
a
a
different way.
year, blood.
So that's to point it back to you. Yeah?
Mhm.
It's your club. It's your 50 million that you've put into the club.
Yeah.
You've now employed Keith. Yeah? And no matter what Keith
I
does.
wouldn't do that, man.
And no matter
For the record, I'm a trophy-winning manager.
we are just really
Yeah,
yeah?
true, yeah, still,
However,
actually, you're actually.
you employ him, and no matter what happens, the guidelines you signed up to, Premier League, you cannot fire him for a year. This is your money on the line.
Yeah.
You're cool with that. You'll be cool with that.
But the thing is, you're in the same position as everyone else. The next owner is in the same position. It's a level playing field because everyone's got the same.
No, but not everyone's got the same manager.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I'm asking you, because I think when you frame it like that to people, it's different. So it's your money on the line. It's your money. You are Simon Jordan. So we're not talking Man United PLC, you're the Glazers. No. We're talking you're a benefactor, you've bought a club, you're a Simon Jordan type character, right? And if the club goes down, not only will you will feel it, people's jobs are lost, etc. You'll be happy with that.
At the end of the day, whose decision was it to hire him? It was mine in the first place. So I've got control. I've got control of that.
Your answer is yes. You'd be happy
But
for
it's
your
my
investment.
mistake.
A bold mistake.
It's my mistake. At the end of the day, it's my mistake.
That little
And as
smirk
you
on your
just said,
face. tells me you're not serious, bro.
even if I didn't sack the manager,
Mhm.
as you just said, with the stats and that, the team's not got better. The team get worse.
A year's too long, bro. Like even the players, they get to go in January, the summer. A year, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's too much,
agree
bro.
that we need to have some kind of measuring stick. But I think a year is a long
It's a
time.
long
I don't
time,
think
man.
the club should have 3-4 different managers in a
Yeah,
season.
maybe
No, I
not,
agree.
but a
That's
year's a
extreme.
long
That's
time for
extreme,
anyone
but-
to be stuck in a job, bro. It's too long.
Yeah, it's
A
true.
year's
That's-
too long, bro.
I mean, you can't play for more than 2 clubs in one season.
Yeah.
That's mad.
So
So maybe it should be that then.
Maybe you shouldn't be able to manage more than 2 clubs or have more than 2 managers in a
Yeah,
season.
there you go. That's
So maybe you
Yeah,
can
that's slightly
maybe you can make
different.
one
That's
change.
better
Maybe you
than
can
you-
make one change.
Yeah.
That's better.
and you can't make another change unless you're in danger of relegation.
Or if you do make a change, if you do fire a
Do it
manager,
like luxury
you have to move up someone in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You can't bring someone in from outside. Okay, that's
So
a
how
good thing.
Palace promoted my man, he has to stay to the end of the season. In with that, so
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good one. Maybe you can bring one manager
I was
out.
going more like, in the NBA, if you break the wage cap, you can break it, but every dollar you go over costs you X amount. So you can have a third manager, but that's going to cost you 3 points.
Financial or
Yeah, they're not going to do points.
Yeah.
Points is the holy grail. But, okay. Don't worry, listen. Football Association, we're going to
There's a lot
stop
of
this week.
discussion.
Premier League.
Not a year though. That's wild, bro.
Let the Set the Circle boys on it. We'll give you a white paper in 3 months. We got this. We got this.